Episode 15. This is Shammah Chandran, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, fighter, and life surfer. And the key takeaway on this episode is to be patient and trust that the process is supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen. Trust the journey, timeline, and enjoy your life. Hello, Kopi Milo podcast, episode 15.
Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to the Hello Kopi Milo podcast. And today we have Shammah Chandran.
Thank you for having me.
What is up, bro?
Nothing much.
Welcome to the 321 studio.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Thanks for having me here, man.
Sorry?
Thanks for having me here.
Oh, no, you're welcome.
I'm
happy to have you here, man.
This is the most artsy, fartsy studio I've ever been to, bro.
Artsy, fartsy.
I was just wondering, is that a painting of you?
Which one?
This guy over there.
No, man, none of this is about me.
So, Shammah Chandran, how young are you, bro? And how would you describe yourself to the fellow listeners out there?
I would say I'm just a normal person. Nothing really special.
How long have you been on planet Earth?
How long have I've been on planet Earth for 29 years now.
29 years.
30.
Cool, dude. Wise man.
Turning 30.
How has adulthood been treating you, man, in your 20s so far?
I don't know. I guess I've been independent since I was a kid. So I mean, since young, you know. I don't really feel it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Always been independent. So.
How was your childhood like?
Childhood has been strange, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, my childhood's strange as. Growing up I grew up in Frim, in a forest reserve.
Wow.
It's not too far from KL town.
Okay.
Growing up with my cousins, my grandparents actually. I grew up with my grandparents. Didn't really grow up with my parents very much.
Okay.
Yeah, my childhood was pretty messed up with the parents. So I grew up with my grandparents. I was the oldest one amongst me and my cousins. Yeah, I think that kind of brought me up to speed with a lot of things. Made me be a little bit more independent. Kind of just taking care of the little boys, the little girl. So I was kind of like the oldest one amongst the siblings or the cousins. We all pretty much grew up together, so it's like, yeah, I kind of was like the oldest one, taking care of everybody.
Right.
So it was a strange childhood.
Yeah. Have you always had that need to express as a young kid, or
a need to No, man. I think
it came later in life.
Yeah, it came so much later in life. I think growing up, I've always been very shy.
Okay, man. Enjoy the cup of coffee,
yeah,
bro.
Thank you. I love this coffee.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I'm super introvert, to be very honest.
Introvert as a young kid.
Yeah, as a young kid, I've always been shy, not really talkative, super antisocial. I would hide myself all the time.
I see. Okay, so this was back in Frim.
Yeah, back in Frim.
How was it like being surrounded by the forest?
Man, it was amazing. I think that's the best thing about my childhood. There was a lot of shit that was happening, but I think that was the best part. Being in the forest, that was my escape, pretty much. Really, if there was any bad shit, I would just head out. I was living literally in the forest reserve, so I would just head out, go to the river, go do some fishing, walk into the forest, do some crazy shit. Me and my brother, we used to always go out. We would always get into trouble. And I hated school. I hated school, so I would skip school just to go forest, just to go fishing. That was weird.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice, man.
That was awesome.
So you escaped the city life. You were not brought up by like a.
No, I wasn't born in a town or KL town. No, I was always, on the outside.
So born and raised around the area.
Yeah,
okay.
Born and raised there, and then my grandparents and my aunts and my cousins all moved to New Zealand when we were young.
New Zealand, you mentioned?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. How the world is just connecting itself, man, because my dream is to be in New Zealand, so let's put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, so my aunt and my uncle, they work in the oil and gas industry, so that requires them to travel a lot. They've been traveling.
Okay.
So as they work and travel, all of us as cousins, we lived in our grandparents' place. And, so we pretty much grew up with our grandparents. Our parents always worked. And then my aunt and my uncle decided, we're going to set up a base in New Zealand.
Wow.
Because of my uncle's job, something like that. And then, as kids, we all just moved to New Zealand. And my dad was living here still. Like, I was having some family issues with my parents.
Mm.
And I was really close with my dad. I wasn't really close with my mom. So I moved a bit, but I felt a bit off because I was really close with my dad. And being a very shy, timid, I felt a bit lost, actually, when you go to a foreign country and everything's like strange. And even when I was in NZ for a bit as a kid, I've always had a problem with being picked on.
Okay.
I was picked on here. I was always getting bullied here, even in school. And in NZ, it was the same. And it freaked me out. And then I just decided to come back here again, stay with my dad. I'm close with him, so yeah.
How young were you at this point?
I was 8.
Mm.
When I was 8. Moved there for a bit, and then I came back, stayed here. I was happy here. I was happy here because of my dad. I was homeschooled for a bit. I was in and out, of school and studying. Studying wasn't really my thing. I did a lot of homeschooling, though, because my attention, I don't know, it's just my attention span was just really short. I had always struggled with studying and school and stuff like that. I was a more outdoor person, never really like sitting in a classroom and stuff like that.
Mm. How do you actually venture into the martial arts? What was the first vice that you encountered? Was it taekwondo?
I think when I was 10.
Okay.
When I was 10, so I was in the school in Kapong in Tamanesan.
Okay. And
I had a friend whose father was teaching Muay Thai, was teaching kickboxing. And back then it was my friend and his older brother and his dad. So it was just the three of them practicing. And I just used to sit there and just watch them. I just used to sit there and watch them. And I decided to join because growing up in like the local school, primary school especially, I used to get bullied a lot. I used to be a really fat kid. I used to be a fat kid. I used to get smashed, man. I used to get pummeled quite a lot.
Yeah.
In high school, even in primary school. And I think at around 10 years old, I started my first Muay Thai class.
Cool.
First kickboxing, and I was like,
you voluntarily wanted to be part of that?
Yeah, I wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
I felt like that was like, and nobody would mess with these two brothers, And I was like, shit, I want to be like that, I used to get picked on when I was in school quite a bit. So, I started when I was 10 with Muay Thai. And I just fell in love with it, because it was so intense.
Yeah.
Muay Thai, at 10 years old, I was like, whoa.
So I would assume like by high school you were getting serious into it? No? I was with martial arts.
Yeah, I was kind of getting a little bit serious into it, but that's the thing, like my parents weren't really keen. I had very traditional sort of family upbringing, So they were like, no martial arts. Martial arts was very spiritual, blah, 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 that kind of shit. And I was just like, so I would just keep it on the low. I would just do it, by myself. I think when I was in high school, I didn't really have much training because, there was no Muay Thai available then. And I was in high school. I couldn't go and enroll in a gym. So I was doing like some self-practice. I was practicing by myself. And every time I meet up with my friends, we would practice, we would train. Yeah, it was mostly just for fun, During the high school days, it was just like, pretty chill, pretty fun, sort of.
Cool.
Nothing really serious then.
Right. Okay. So, do you took the traditional path of going to college and all that? Or
No, I did not.
You did
I
not?
failed my SPM, dude.
Oh, dude, respect. Much respect. man.
I failed my. I slept. Oh my god, I was such an asshole. Seriously, I slept through my classes. I was a dick in school, man.
Yeah.
I was just. I mean, not a dick like dick to anybody else. I was just like, I was not into studying.
Yeah, I mean,
I would be in class, but I would just like not pay attention. I would be doing other random shit. I would be, I don't know, just talking to my friend.
Dude, I feel you, man. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I would. It was so strange, you know.
And again, the subjects we have here is pretty much useless in our daily life, you know.
Oh, man,
and
it
also,
was
it's boring
weird.
in the first place. And the teachers are not even trying, I think.
No, hell
Yeah?
no.
So, at what point did you actually get serious into this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or whatever that comes before that?
So I started really looking into martial arts when I was 18, actually. Right after I graduated high school. I was during my high school days I used to like try to watch videos and stuff. It was very hard back then. There was like no YouTube back in high school days. There was no like real YouTube, you know. We weren't really like watching video. I would try to like look up for videos of fights and stuff like that. It was really interesting. And then when I turned 18, I think it was 18, 19 when I watched my first mixed martial arts match. It was, I think when I was 18 or 19. I can't quite remember, but I watched my first mixed martial arts match. That was like intense. It was not Muay Thai. It was not boxing. You know, it was like a mix of everything. I don't know if you've watched mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
It's like everything. It was so fucking brutal. I mean, back in the day, when I was 18, 19, the mixed martial arts scene was still new. So it was like some of them, they didn't even have gloves. And they would like do head stomps and shit. That was intense, man.
Damn.
That was super intense. Yeah, and I watched that and I was like, whoa, these guys are such badass. And I watched I watched Henzo Gracie. Was it? Yeah, it was Henzo Gracie in his Pride days, fighting like doing jiu-jitsu, and I was just like, whoa, this guy is small and and he beat like a guy who was like twice his size.
Yeah.
That was something else, you know. And I was like, whoa, I totally want to do this.
Yeah.
I totally want to do this. You know? But I was still kind of scared, you know. I mean, martial arts is scary, to be honest with you. Even till now, I mean, I've been competing for a while, and it's still scary, you know. But yeah, I think when I turned 18, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do try to get into Muay Thai first. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to do Muay Thai. Try to focus on Muay Thai first. I think I was 19 or 20 when I first enrolled into like a proper Muay Thai school. And then it started. The Malaysian Tigers team. So the Malaysian Tigers team was like I think it was the only school that was run in PJ or in KL area, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty intense back then.
Wow. So it has been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been 10
You
years.
focus on martial arts.
Yes.
Right. Who do you look up to most in martial arts?
As I was watching mixed martial arts, I've always followed this French Canadian dude called George Saint Pierre.
Okay.
I think why I connect with him is because, I think we kind of have a similar story in that sense.
Yeah.
I have his book. I mean, his book is amazing. He also kind of had that, going through a rough childhood, getting bullied and getting smashed. But I actually watched him. I didn't know about his background then. I only watched him when he was young and he was this up-and-coming fighter, and I was watching, I can't remember which UFC was this. He was like a super young dude just going through and pummeling everyone. I was like, wow, who is this kid? This kid is amazing. I want to be like him, you know. I think watching that and also watching my Muay Thai coach, who's like a really small Thai dude, and he's vicious, man. This guy's crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah. crew Rung Chai. But yeah, he was training us for a while, and then after that he just left. Yeah, I think the Muay Thai scene in Malaysia was a little bit strange then.
What was the most challenging thing during those 10 years that you've remembered of trying to get good in Muay Thai or trying to get good in martial arts, or perhaps what you're into right now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Yeah, how do you overcome all these obstacles, and what are the obstacles that you faced?
When I first started off training Muay Thai seriously, I still had an office job. I was working.
Right.
I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working with Microsoft for a bit, and then I quit the job. I was training, and I think the biggest struggle was balancing work and training. And when I first enrolled into the Muay Thai gym, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. I love this. I love the sweat. I love the training. It was intense. It was like proper Muay Thai for once, because like I never had a Thai trainer.
Right.
And this was like proper Thai training. You run, you skip for hours, you run for hours, and then you spar and all this. And then I loved it. I think the biggest problem starting off was I had my 9-to-5 job, and I had to juggle training in between. And I was an amateur then, and I think my coach back then, Crew Rung Chai, he saw that I had a talent. I had
potential.
Potential to fight, and he was like, yeah, you should do an amateur fight. And I was like, yeah, totally. I was like, oh shit, yeah, let's do this. It was scary but exciting at the same time. I was like, yeah, let's do this. But it was hard. I would fall sick every week, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I would fall sick because I would train and still go to work. And then, there was no real time to rest and recover. So, and I think I pushed really hard. I pushed quite hard. Didn't really know how to pace myself accordingly. I was doing that for about 2 years when I was working in Microsoft. And then I quit my Microsoft job. And then I had, and all I was trying to just look for stability, income-wise. And then I straight away jumped on to another job that I had that was with eBay, PayPal. It was another fucking sucky job. I worked 12-hour shifts. It was the worst. It was, it made it worse. I think that just made me realize.
Yeah, but the amazing thing is you got into Microsoft, eBay, PayPal, and all that stuff without even going to college. Right?
No, I started from the bottom. Both the jobs that I had there, I started off as customer service. I was just answering calls.
Yeah.
And I think I had if I really am focused about something, I would put my energy into it, if it's something that I really like. But those two jobs, I was doing it for a while just because of the money I had. I knew if I worked hard enough, I could make good money, from this job. But it wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I worked. I put in the time. But it wasn't something I liked or enjoyed. I was just working just because of the money.
Right.
I mean, after that, even in PayPal, I was just the 12-hour shift really killed it. It was okay, I can't do this. I was still training then, and doing 12 hours and then training. Oh man, it really killed me. I still fought amateur, but after that I was like, nope, I have to quit. I have to choose one or the other. Yeah, those are the. I was also doing my aquascapes. I was working. I had my full-time job. I was training Muay Thai, and I was volunteering for the zoo with my aquascapes. So it was 3 things going on, and I was just I was pummeled, man, physically and mentally.
That transition between that full-time job, how did you make a living? How do you get paid?
When I decided to quit my office job, it meant no more income, It really meant I was just living off my savings.
Right.
So when I first quit my job, I had my first... Actually, I lost a fight. He's a local dude. I fought this guy, and he had he had more experience than me, you know. And it was my first MMA fight. I had no experience in MMA. I was only fighting Muay Thai. And I fought this guy who had a couple of MMA fights already. And he was fighting guys in this promotion called Martial Combat in Singapore. It's like, it's a pretty big deal, you know. And I didn't know who this guy was. And I just went in, I signed up, and I was like, because there were, so what happened then was my Thai coach with the Malaysian Tigers team, he left. And then I was when he left, I was just training with a bunch of Russian dudes. Ala Murad, who was one of these guys, one of my first Russian friends I was training with here. We were still training. And then he was like, dude, you should try MMA, you know, just try fighting MMA. So I signed up. And then I think 2 weeks later, I fought, and I was still working this. I was still working then. I did my MMA fight. I got smashed. I remember what happened was, in this fight, I managed to somehow get the guy down. I took him down. I don't know how that happened, but I still remember it. I took him down. I was on top. And I didn't know what to do. I was lost. Yeah. I was really lost. And he flipped me over, and I was like, oh, shit. And then I just got pummeled. I got absolutely smashed. I really got smashed. And then it's one of those things, you know, when you lose like that, it kind of affects you mentally.
Yeah.
And then after that, I told myself, like, shit. I had no ground game. I had no... there was no ground fighting. If it's stand up, maybe I could have survived. But when I was on the floor, I had nothing, you know. I just felt so vulnerable. I felt like, I don't know, I felt really scared, you know. And then I was like, no, I need to learn some jiu-jitsu. I need to learn some wrestling. So I quit my job, and I went looking for a jiu-jitsu school. And back then, there was only one jiu-jitsu school in the whole of Malaysia. There was, and I looked up, and it was Marcos Escobar Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This guy is amazing. This guy, until now, I still fly his flag. He's still my head coach. Amazing human being, this guy. And he got me into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and into proper mixed martial arts, proper training. I have my Jiu-Jitsu. And he also does boxing, so I have everything I need. So I was like, okay, and I sat down with him, and I was like, and I said, I want to train. I want to train with you. So I came to the gym, first day, I got absolutely smashed doing jiu-jitsu. I got smashed by a girl.
Holy shit.
Magdalene, I remember. She's still one of my main training partners. I got smashed by a girl. Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
This is jiu-jitsu, you know. Well, I'm coming back for more. You know? And then I quit my job because I was training Muay Thai. I was training jiu-jitsu. I started training jiu-jitsu, and then I was like, on top of that, there was a potential fight, you know, coming up. So I decided to quit my job, and I think that was the hardest decision. But
why is that? What would that? Because of fear, or
not because of fear? Yeah, because I was scared because like I was just pretty much living off my savings. I was living off my savings. I had no income. I was staying in my small little Myvi, staying in my car, and I was staying in the gym. They would allow me to stay in the gym. I would clean the mats every day, stay in the car, not really wanting to go home because the situation in the house was pretty messed up. And my parents wasn't very keen on me doing martial arts, you know. But yeah, I quit my job. They didn't know I quit my job, you know.
Yeah.
Because I had to pay bills. I had to pay for my car. I had to pay for rent. It was really scary. I was just living off savings. And at one point, I remember it was really tough. But I was blessed. It was really tough because I was just having instant noodles for my meals. I was having just instant noodles. It was hard. But I was blessed because I have really nice teammates. I would stay in the gym, and the guys, like, after the morning session, They would bring me out for lunch. I remember we had our gym in. We moved gyms from Kota Damansara. We moved to Mokiara, and we would just go downstairs. There would be like this set lunch thingy, and the guys would buy me lunch. Yeah, it was amazing, man. I mean, I think it was hard then, but I was never like lacking. Like never had to like starve or anything. Like I still will have a meal. You know, I think that was somewhat like a blessing, you know.
How young were you at this point?
I was 22 or 23.
Damn.
Yeah, but I met Marcos, and I decided to take my, I would take up jiu-jitsu with him. I think I was 23.
Damn.
Yeah, shit, man, time flies. Fuck. It's a very strange feeling when you step into the ring. I think, yeah, it's so scary. But when you're in it, and when it's time to fight, you have to really kind of, you're in it. You know, you there's no more pulling out because you're and it's really intimidating being in a cage. You feel like it's really strange. It's not like in a ring. In a ring, it kind of seems a little bit more.
There's a way out.
Yeah, sort of. You
Yeah.
know? But when you're in a cage, I remember, it always scares me. Back then. Now I'm kind of comfortable with it, you know. But it was a good fight. I think it finished in round 2. TKO'd the guy. The guy had like massive gash over his head.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I need him as he was going for a takedown, and it just like right over his head. Yeah, I didn't even expected that. I was actually really nervous. Because there was people, and the setting was really different. Like, because it was in a bar kind of setting, so people were really much closer to the cage, and you could actually hear people talking. You could actually hear what people were saying. And people were cheering for that guy. They were like, "Fuck him up, fuck him up." I'm like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Like, this is scary, man." You know, it was like really weird feeling. I was like, "Whoa, I would, yeah." But
Where was this?
that-
Where was this, by the way? Like,
It was in Jalan Ipoh, believe it or not.
Holy
There was this
shit.
bar. It was called the Riverside something, or I can't
Damn.
remember where.
Can't imagine that this happened in KL. Dude.
Yeah. I think that fight really made me trust Marcos a lot, because his voice was really loud, and I was just trying to focus, trying to be in the moment, try not to get too caught up with, you know, the surroundings. It's very hard, you know, the lights, the cage, everything was intimidating, the people, and then, you know, it was really scary. And having that voice behind me, you know, Marcos was like, he was really vocal and loud. He was like telling me to do this. Yeah. I felt like after that fight, I was like, yeah, I can trust this man, and, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna commit and do it.
So
Yeah.
it's all worth it in the end, man. Now you're a full-on official martial art Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, right?
Yeah.
And also a trainer, full-time trainer.
Full-time trainer, full-time coach, and I love it. You know, full-time athlete, full-time coach, doing a little bit of fitness modeling.
Cool.
Also running my Aqua-scape business.
Damn.
And I think I'm just blessed, to be honest with you, to go through this journey. Super fucking blessed, man. I can't complain.
Wow. The takeaway from that little story that you just told is like, no matter how scary that the situation is, just go big, dive in,
Yeah.
head first, right? You'll
Yeah.
never know what you're gonna get.
That's true.
Like,
That's
I
so
don't
true.
think you would have expect your life to turn out this way just about
No.
8 years ago, right?
No, really no. You know, in my family, everyone's like high achievers, you know. Like, everyone's really smart. Everyone's an engineer, everyone's a doctor, everyone's a lawyer. I think that's also one of the reasons why my parents and my grandparents, my family, are not really supportive, because they don't really see the future for fighting.
Yeah.
Or even for aquascaping, for instance, you know. They don't see like there's money to be made there. Because, you know, when you're an Asian family, it's like all about the money.
Yeah.
Buying a house, having a car.
Yeah, it's all about the status and how much you make, your
how
monthly
much you make
income.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed to actually see that see it at an early stage, you know, like office job wasn't for me. Having a car wasn't like a thing to show off, you know, like having a car or having a house. It wasn't like, I wasn't happy. Was I really happy? I wasn't. Yeah, I felt like crap.
What would be the one trait that you wish you had as a person, man?
One trait. I wish well, that's a hard one. I wish I learned fast. I wish I learned things and picked up things really fast. I wish I was a natural at a lot of things. Learning, reading. I wish I read more. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit more reading now, though. You know, I think that's the one thing I would love. I wish like I could read fast and learn more. You know,
Learn more, process faster.
yeah, process a little bit more faster. Because like I said, as a kid, I wasn't really much of a learner. I wasn't really reading. You know how in school they made you memorize shit.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. It's like one of those things that I hated the most. Like I remember my grandma used to make me like hafal sife.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that was the hardest thing. I used to get ass, and the only reason why I hafal sife was because I would get smashed.
For those who don't know what sife is, like the one time the math, like 2
Yeah.
times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2
And
is
it was
8.
at the back of the small little book
Yeah.
we had, you know. And wow, it was. I think I hated it.
Yeah,
I
we were all forced to memorize that shit.
I was
man.
crying every time.
I
read
wonder like how people overseas do they memorize as well?
I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't asked
Yeah.
anyone. yet.
Did anyone have that sort of book when they were growing up?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I wished I that one trait I think would be learning fast.
Cool.
Which is amazing.
Do you believe in the law of attraction, bro?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I started writing my affirmations. I
Okay.
don't know if you've heard about affirmations.
Yeah.
So I started doing this thing where I was going through a bad period at a point. I have a really bad injury on my knee.
Okay.
At this point, I had to reevaluate my whole sort of career path. You know, whether am I going to continue fighting, because my injury is quite bad. And when you are hurt as an athlete and you're not able to compete, that can affect you because mentally. It can affect you mentally. And I was going through a really rough patch. I was going through like a fucking breakup. It was awful. Yeah. Had some family situation. It was rough. And then I was really down, and I met I met this doctor, Dr. Muruga. He's an amazing human being, and he helped me kind of get back on my feet again by doing affirmations, talking to me every day. I felt like he was like a therapist. I don't know. But he was a really good friend. He was just there for me, talking to me, helping me get back up on my feet. I think when I started writing my affirmations and what I wanted in life, like I felt like, okay, I wanted this so badly. And every time I wrote, I started writing a little bit more. And if I wanted something, I wanted like short-term goals or whatever it is that I wanted. And every time I write that, I process it in my head and I'll tell myself, I want it like this, I want it like that. And I really, really sort of believed in it, you know, like I want it like this. I want things to be like that. And somehow it will happen. Somehow things happen. You know, like I'm blessed to be able to travel. You know, I don't have like, I'm not like tied down to anything. I'm blessed to be able to travel. I'm blessed to be able to coach the bunch of students that I have now. You know, and if I've never lacked. Like, you know, it's amazing. Like if I wanted something, somehow it will happen.
So if you see it in your mind, you can actually make it happen in reality. Yeah.
You can, you know, and I think it's like really believing in it. And I think martial arts had a big role to play in this as well, because it's all about the discipline in the mind, mentally, getting there. But yeah, obviously I think the affirmations also played a big role. Writing my affirmations every day, and that really helped me like really believe and really sort of conceive what I wanted.
I think secretly the universe and us, we are all connected. We have like a secret satellite that we are projecting.
Synchronization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow, yeah.
So obviously you mentioned just now you have dealt with the dark days, like when you were down and all that.
A lot of dark days.
What little advice, short and sweet, like what little advice that you have for the listeners who are actually going through it right now? You know, who are in the dark corner, dealing with anxiety, dealing with pain, and somehow things might go to the extent of like suicidal thoughts. You know, what advice do you have?
From my experience, at least, it's really strength of the mind. Really, it's all in the mind. It's all in the head. Yeah, I've hit rock bottom. To be very honest with you, I've gone through some crazy stuff. So many ups and downs, but I've hit rock bottom. And I've kind of like smashed my way through it, you know. And I think it was always my mind. I always had this thing that I was always telling myself, it's gonna be okay. I always had to be gentle. I think what I did was I always had to remind myself to be gentle with myself. I always had to tell myself, Shammah, it's going to be okay. I would actually talk to myself because I had nobody there to tell me, like, you know, what to do. I think when you're at you're at the lowest low, it's just a tipping point before something good happens, you know.
All right.
Yeah, it's just there. You just have to push through it. It's just that little bit, you know. It's like at the point. I think
have faith,
the universe is like that. It never puts you through something you cannot handle. It's like that. It puts you through the test because when you go past that, that's the breaking point. You know, that's the breakthrough. Then after that, right, you when things get better, you will notice that, whoa, shit, I actually hit a new level. I never thought I would hit this new level. Emotionally, mentally, you like leveled up, you know? And I think that happened to me. Yeah, man, you know, I had my young sister passed away, and when someone in your family passed away like that, it's crazy, you know. And going through so much shit, you know, like one after the other, and yeah, I was at a point where I felt like I was quite. This is it, you know. This is it. There's no point anymore. But I was gentle. I was being gentle. I think what I can say is be gentle with yourself. Always be gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself, and always tell yourself you'll be all right. You know,
affirmation comes in as well. At this
affirmations.
Point, right?
Oh yeah, affirmations play a big role, man. I think young people need to start writing affirmations.
Writing.
Yeah, write your affirmations every day. I do it twice a day. First thing in the morning, I wake up, I write my affirmations. Just before I go to bed, I write my affirmations, and I think writing has helped a lot. How I feel, because I'm not a very I don't say things very well, you know. I don't talk very well or something like that. So what I do is sometimes I don't know if something bad happens and I don't know how to process it, I'll just write it down, and that's helped a lot. It's made me feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit better. But yeah, man. Yeah, I think just be gentle with yourself. Just always keep telling yourself you'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right, man. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Exactly. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, man.
Obviously, balanced lifestyle is very important, right?
It is.
How would your daily routine be like?
So I wake up in the morning. I would wake up pretty early. I would wake up either at 5 or 6, depending on how tired I am. Because sometimes my night classes end pretty late. But yeah, on a regular day, I would wake up at 6. I would be up already. 5:45, my alarm rings. I'll give myself a 15 minutes allowance to, like, you know, wake up, stretch a little bit. I will wake up. I will have a nice glass of water, come down. First thing I do is my yoga, my stretches, which is very important. I've had so many injuries during my training and my fights and stuff like that. So I need to be really gentle with my body. So I can't like just get up and just like bounce around, you know. Our first thing I do is I do my yoga. I do my stretching, I do my breathing meditation. I try to center myself. And then after that, I make my cup of coffee, I'll sit down, and I start writing my affirmations. First thing I do. Then once I'm done with my affirmations, and then I'll go through my list. Okay, so I have a class. I'll write down my schedule. I'll go through my calendar, and I'll see what are the things that I need to do work-wise. What are the classes I need to do? I'll start writing my classes. So if in a day I would probably have 3 to 4 classes, I would start tailoring my classes accordingly. So I would schedule. So if it's like a wrestling class, I'll need to tailor it accordingly, what I'm going to teach for the day or for the week. Yeah, I would do that. Then I'll just go about, just going through my day, just going to the gym, teaching my classes, teaching my students, running the classes at home here in 3-1. I love the classes here,
What kind of classes do you have here?
So the classes that I'm teaching here is just Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
Here is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's the reason why I want it here, and the reason why it's only a select group of people here is because this group of students are very close to me. They're like my family.
Oh.
They're like my chosen family, this group. And I don't, there's a chance for me to really grow this class, but I can't fit like 30 people in this small place. I just chose to have a group of 10 people. Nothing more, nothing less. And these 10 people are like my family. Right. They are like my chosen family. And I want it to be here because we are like close. We get to talk. We get to do our thing.
Yeah, it's a sacred place.
And
the energy here is fine, man.
I love the energy here. It's a good energy here. Yeah. And my students are comfortable. So here I'm just teaching Jiu-Jitsu. And the other gyms I'm teaching Muay Thai. I teach Muay Thai for beginners. I teach Muay Thai. There's a gym that I'm teaching a bunch of amateur fighters, teaching mixed martial arts, like full-on MMA class and wrestling classes. So yeah, I think overall I'm teaching in like 4 different gyms right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I have to go through that. It is tiring.
It is tiring,
but
and also good money, I guess. Right?
You
have come a long way, bro.
I've come a long way.
Yeah.
I'm blessed, to be very honest with you. But it's a lot of work, It's a lot of hard work.
But if you could go back in time to when you were 20, right? Just right before you quit a job, and you could meet the younger version of you, and you could give just one simple advice to yourself, what would that be?
Be gentle with yourself. I think the reason why I say that is it's because of my knee injury. I had this knee injury, I think, when I was doing Muay Thai. And it's also because I was sort of punishing myself. My sister passed away. And when she passed away, it was really hard for us to accept it. It was very hard for me to accept it. And I kind of was disturbed very mentally. And I took it out on training, on fighting. It was almost like self-abuse. That's probably why I fucked up my knee.
Was that during
I didn't really take care of myself.
During training,
during a fight actually, and I have a very high tolerance for pain, and that's a bad thing, to be very honest with you. I was talking to this Kiwi coach, Coach Mike, and he was like, "You need to prep yourself well. You need to be gentle with yourself." And see, the same thing he told me. Be gentle with yourself.
Now you say gentle, does it mean like with proper nutrition and proper rest?
proper nutrition, just proper rest and really taking care of yourself. Some people, I don't know how other people function, but me, I when I'm really upset or I can do like 3-4 workouts a day, which is not smart. I would train. I can stay in the gym and just work, and at the end of the day, I'm just wrecking my body. It's like I'm taking my car and just taking it like wrecking it. Never really taking care of the car properly. I was doing that when I was younger because I was so disturbed emotionally, mentally, that I was just wrecking myself. If I could look back, I would tell myself, man, be gentle.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Yeah.
And what advice do you have for, or maybe suggestions for those who are not, who haven't found themselves, you know, who are not in the right track?
Who are lost.
Yeah.
Well, I was lost. I think you need to be lost in order for you to be found.
Right.
That's one thing.
Because I've seen like people in their 30s, 40s who are still lost.
Yeah.
So at some point you still have to find a way to get back on track, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah. So
I think it's everybody has their journey. Everybody has their timeline. Everybody has their own timeline. For me as well, I know dudes who are like really young and they've already made it. You know, they're so-called found lah. You know what I mean? But I think, yeah, internet can be quite distracting because we are always looking for the outward. We're always looking for external. We're never really looking into the internal, you know. There's good and bad, I guess, with the internet, with social media and stuff. But the good part is also that with internet, you learn more things. You learn how to, I mean, if you want to learn about how you can find happiness within yourself, you can also go to the internet and look for like people that, you know, can help you with that, coach you with that. What I was reading, I think recently I read this book. It's called How to Love, and this book, How to Love, taught me how to find happiness within yourself, in you. You know, not looking for external stuff. But yeah, I think it's a very strange thing. I think everybody has their timeline. You know, I can't really tell how people will be found, but you have to be lost in order for you to be found. That's what I know. A dude can be 40 and then after 40 suddenly he might find, wow, you know, then he might be lost for a really long time, then suddenly he'd be found. You know, I think everybody has their timeline. I think it's really God's timing.
I guess I know what you meant, like Colonel Sanders, for example, the KFC guy.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know, the McDonald's guy. I don't know, whoever those
yeah,
guys.
It's
were
much
probably,
later in their year
probably in their
that they
60s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, so I think it's just a journey, it's a timeline because everybody has to go through that. We are all wired differently, we're all built differently.
So just let it flow, and that whatever you are supposed to have will come to you.
Yeah, it will come, you know.
Okay.
I think at the end of the day, it's the intentions you have as a human being. If you have good intentions, if you really want something, like I said, you know, if you really want something and if you really believe it, it will manifest itself. It will take place. It will happen. But you cannot rush it. You never rush anything, you know. You cannot force it because you may not be ready for it, you know. Certain things happened to me as well because I felt like, well, maybe it's not my time. It's not now. It's not back then. But now it's happening, you know. And maybe because I'm more mature, maybe I wasn't ready to handle it then. Now I'm more mature, so it's happening. And I can see that now. And for me, I feel like, wow, it's timing. It's not my timing. It's the universe timing. It's God's timing. I just have to let it flow and just let it, let it take its time and just kind of going with the flow, just rolling with the punches.
Rolling with the punches, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I have this strong sort of calling within me now. I feel like I'm a bird. I can't stay in one place.
You're a bird.
Trapped. Yeah, I can't be tied down. So just before I left to Bali, I've had a couple of offers to open gyms, to partner up, to open gyms and stuff like that. And I took time to actually sit down and think about it. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I'm going to be tied down. And KL is not the place that I want to be. So, and being in Bali kind of showed me like, I found my people there. I found my community there. I found people that I can connect at a very much deeper level. I found the people there are different from the people here that I've met and had conversations with. The people that really care. People that really want to know you for you. People listened, and we shared. It was two ways, you know. And I felt very at home there. You know, I mean, I had the same experience when I was in France.
All right.
I've had the same experience when I was in France. People there were amazing, especially in South, not in Paris. When I was in South of France, but it's different. It's hard to explain, but it's different. When I was in Bali, and I'm actually really considering making Bali my base now. Like, I'm giving myself 3 months.
3 months.
I'm giving myself 3 months from now.
Right.
So I'm giving myself 3 months, and if things don't really go too well here, in that sense, I'm not gonna waste too much time. I'm gonna take a risk,
Yeah.
and go to Bali and see what happens there. You know, I mean, I'm free to do whatever I want. To be very honest with you, I think that's the best thing about my life. I think I'm free. I'm not tied down to anything. I'm blessed, you know, because I'm not like tied down to a mortgage or tied down to some fucking student loan or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because it can be quite stupid, you know, the whole student loan thingy. People
Yeah.
can't travel, can't do shit.
Yeah.
And you are working to pay off debts and loans like that. I'm blessed to be able to like pay off my debt. You know, the only thing that I have is this car, which is going to be done soon. I'm so happy about that. And after that, I'm free to do whatever I want, you know. So I
And
think
then when you're about to leave, you have to sell it, and then
I'll sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to give away. I love this car.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through quite a bit with this car. I was
Yeah.
living in the back of this car. Which
This
is
was the
strange.
car.
This was the car. I was
Damn.
staying in the back of this car.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting times here, even in 321. I think Andrew has some plans as well. He might stay or he might move back to the States. I might not stay. I really feel like I want to move. I want to try something new. I don't know, either Bali or Chiang Mai. These are the two places.
Before you had all these routines, all these workout routines, all these gym sessions, do you feel like life was less meaningful to compare to now? Does workout routines gives you more meaning, or at least boost your happiness in a way?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you
because-
recommend, like, for anyone out there who wants to feel better about themselves or to be happier in a way, to go to gym or to work on themselves?
Yeah,
physically?
definitely, man. I
Yeah?
think one thing about our human nature is we have to understand that we are not meant to sit in an office or to sit down and work. It's not made for us. We are our body is meant for movement, for moving. You know, our limbs, our hands, to touch and feel things. You know, like you have to like go back to our old roots where we are always constantly working, moving. And when things were really simple back in our great-grandparents' time, everyone is like doing work, you know. And they were happy, right? They
Yeah,
were really
yeah.
happy. They had everything. They weren't complaining. They weren't, you know, like now I think people just like, everything is so easy. So people just like, they're just happy to not do anything. They were just trying to be like, people become more lazy. I would say people just like internet. I'm just happy to Netflix and just chill. You know, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
No, but like I feel like working out and doing yoga and movement and stuff like that, being in the outdoors, really, it kind of centers you as a human being. You know, you are meant to be out. You're meant to move. You know, that will really help you. If you are a person who's going through a rough period or rough patch, try working out. Working out will definitely help. You know, working out or being in nature, just going for a hike or, you know, just walking. You will feel very connected with nature, you know, because then you will see things more clearly. You know, if you just sit down and just do nothing and just sob or whatever it is, if you're like having a rough time, you're just like sitting in your dark room. I did that as well. I did that. But that's not going to help. I had to like pick up myself, just go out there. You know, you have to go out.
True.
You know, when something bad happens, people always try to like, fuck all of this, I hate everything. You just shut yourself down.
Yeah.
You can't really do that. You know, things happen for a reason, but you still need to put yourself out there. I love moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love, and I think jiu-jitsu is amazing, man, because jiu-jitsu is all about movement. It's like total body movement, and that's the one thing I'm really obsessed about is jiu-jitsu and how you move, how the body moves and stuff like that. Yeah, I think working out made me really happy, really boost my happiness doing jiu-jitsu martial arts.
So for the listeners out there who hasn't been going to the gym, who wants to start going to the gym, or perhaps want to start jiu-jitsu, what advice you have for them? Like, you just sign up for gym and just go.
Do it. Go do it. You know, the
Yeah.
people always hesitate. They'll be like, yeah, you know what? I want to sign up for the gym. You know, I was thinking of doing that. I was thinking, don't just think, bro. Just do it, man. Don't think. When you say you're thinking about it, nah, you have to do. You know what I mean? People always like to say, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of doing that. No, just do it. Just go do it. Just go sign up. It's like when I came back from Bali. The first thing when I came back and I was like, shit, I miss Bali. I miss my girlfriend. I miss this. And I was like, I felt really at home. And I was like, I want to go back. You know what? I think I want to do it. And I was like, just do it. You know, I just took out my phone. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to book my ticket. That same night, I booked it. I was like, I'm going to do it. Fuck it.
So when are you leaving again?
I'm leaving on the 13th of
Holy
July.
shit.
It's like in 2 weeks.
Right.
I think you just have to do it. I think that's the one thing I learned is when you think too much, right, your mind kind of, that's the problem with the mind a little bit. You get sucked into this whole game the mind plays. Like if you think too long, I don't know if you've heard, I was watching this TED talk. It's about a 3-second rule or something. Like when you think too much, when you want to talk to a girl or something like that, you don't think too much. You just have to go and do it. You know, and I've always been like an introvert, scared. And when it comes to approaching the girls, I'm fucking scared, bro. Or talking to people, I'm not a very social person, you know. And yeah, and just the past couple of years, putting myself out there a little bit more, talking, doing things, you know, like doing, not just talking, more action, you know. Yeah, when I do my stuff or when I try to plan for something, I'll always come up with a plan. And I come up with an action plan. Like, yeah, you can do all the planning you want, but not execute it.
Yeah.
So I always put the plan and I give myself a timeline and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this now. You know, what are the things that I need to do? So yeah, when it comes to like signing up for a gym, it's your health. You don't need to think too much about it. It's your health. You know, I think health is the biggest wealth. You can go around earning as much money as you want and still feel like shit because your physical, you need to take care of your physical. If you're not physically fit, you can't work. Sacrifice, made time for it. People made time. He made time. I always told him, like, you have to make time. It's whether you want it or not, you know?
Okay, this is where I flip the script and give you a break and let you ask the questions, right? You can ask me anything at all, apart from the questions that I've asked you today, and also nothing about the podcast, because everyone has been asking me about the podcast.
About the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So anything at all apart from that?
Do you see yourself living in Malaysia? Do you see yourself staying here in KL? Or do you see yourself moving to another place and, yeah, doing what you love?
Definitely not, man. I don't see myself staying here at all, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah, I wouldn't even think twice that question because I probably can relate to you when you say you're a bird and you can't be caged, and I feel like, oh my god, that means there's a lot of us out here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel alone anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you felt like, oh, you want to do something, and the moment that you came back here, and then you feel like you want to go back, that instant moment. Only difference is you book your flight straight away.
Yeah.
I felt that the same thing every time I come back. Like, let's say I had a trip to New Zealand, Australia, and all that, and I came back. Oh man, the next moment I wish I didn't left that place.
Yeah.
So Yeah, definitely not in Malaysia. I don't know why. I feel guilty at times, you know, with all the privileges, with like Malaysia is a peaceful country, multiracial. We have good food. We have so much to be grateful
We
about.
do, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't, yeah.
And also maybe I was born in the city, Subang. I was born and raised there.
Oh, you're from Subang?
Yeah, I was from Subang.
Subang.
Yeah.
Subang, okay.
And I don't know, it just doesn't click. When I would imagine you mentioned south of France is a little bit like New Zealand, south of New Zealand maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
The landscape wise.
Landscape wise was I was living in the foot of the hills.
Okay. Wow.
In Park Les 7. I need to get a tattoo of that place though. Yeah, it's a different experience there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would love it.
What was it called?
Les 7.
Les 7.
Les 7.
Okay. Yeah.
It's in Montpellier. Montpellier, south of France.
Montpellier, south of France. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Where do you see yourself going? Europe?
I want to go to Europe. Because I haven't backpacked there. I want to venture there.
Right.
Before I can tell whether it's Europe or not. But for now, the options are definitely right now. The end goal is having a farm in New Zealand. I'm a farm guy. I'm like, I just want to chill. Yeah, I just want to chill and relax. I mean, not relax, but reap what I sow. You know, like and I also like the seasonal thing.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you know, I just don't do well with like, okay, you're gonna be with this company for one whole year, or you know, try to stay as long as possible because it's good on your resumes. I can't do that, man.
No, I know.
And I feel so weirded out and strange when I'm the only one in my circle of friends who are like that.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has been with the same company for a long time.
Yes.
Even my siblings, they are practicing that. You know, my elder siblings. Yeah. So after meeting you, I feel like, damn, I'm not strange after all. You know,
I feel you.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of birds in this world.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we are birds stuck in a human body or something.
Yeah, we gotta fly.
Yeah.
And I hate the whole passport thingy and flying.
Passport.
Yeah, it's like so strange, right? I mean, when you look at history and back in the day, people used to like travel, right?
Yeah.
They used to like migrate from one place to another place. They didn't have fucking passports back then.
Yeah.
Why do we need passports now?
They were free to do anything, dude.
Yeah, you know.
And like, I feel like
the whole world is a fucking playground.
Yeah, I feel like going to UK. Okay, I'm just gonna hop in the ship and
just go.
I might reach there in 2 weeks or something. I don't know. But
it's the journey.
I'm never coming back. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, no, you're a farm guy.
Yeah, and that's my end goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say farm, what do you mean? Like living off the land, like a sustainable living? That means you just live off the land and you feed off the land.
No, what I meant is like that's my retired program. You know, where I have my house, I have my family, and that's my program that's my routine. Like I'm gonna go to the farm, I'm gonna check out the avocados, gonna make sure that the trees are right.
Yeah.
I would say you're probably the same, seeing from your
the house.
Aqua-scapes and all that.
Aqua-scapes, and I did. So I was working with a company called Econites, and we did aquaponics. Aquaponic systems is where it's all about sustainable living. Like you're living off, you can pretty much just grow your own food. You don't have to go out to the market, bro. You just like have your fish that are edible. You grow fishes. You grow your vegetables.
Yeah.
And everything is there.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is a good thing. So this is the new venture that I'm looking into, the aquascapes and the aquaponics.
Cool, dude.
That's the project for this year.
Right.
I hope
Nice.
that goes well.
Yeah. Cool.
It's really nice to find someone like, few who are also in the same wavelength.
Yeah, I feel like our souls are probably created from the same mold or something. We were from the same factory and then distributed
like
on a different timeline, you know?
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 25.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah.
You're young, dude.
Before I go to the last questions, how can people find you on social media, bro?
You can look me up on Instagram. Instagram c.shammah, c.shammah.
C.Shammah.
Yeah, C.Shammah. That's my sort of public Instagram account.
Okay.
So I post my workout routines. I post my Insta stories. I'm doing a little bit more Insta stories now.
That's the big thing
Yeah,
right now.
that's the thing. So I would normally just do like my diets, what I'm going through the day, my classes and whatnot.
Here's the last question. One last advice you have for someone who wants tips to get to know themselves, to get to know themselves in order to know what they want to do in their life. Apart from being gentle, right? What other advice do you have, like, for them to dig deep and try to understand their own soul? You know, because as far as we know ourselves, you know, we know that we don't want to be tied down. But for most of the people, they don't really know. They are really cloudy about their own vision. What will your advice be?
I think another thing that really helped me also, besides the being gentle part, is actually talking to people, putting yourself out there. A lot of people want to be found, but they don't want to put themselves out there. I think you have to put yourself out there. You need to talk to more people. We are humans. We are social.
Social animals.
Yeah,
right?
we're social animals. We need to talk to people. We need to see people. You need to find mentors. I think what really helped me was actually finding mentors, finding people who can not hold your hand and guide you, but be there, give you advice, and kind of shine some light. Because we are all kind of sort of like, lost a little bit. And these people who are mentors who've already been there, done that, there's so many people there who are out there who would be more than happy to help you. There's always people who love you, who care for you. And I have like 3 mentors in my life, like my business, my personal life, and these people really help me. I think one of my advice is to go out there, put yourself out there and find these people, find mentors, look for people who you feel like you can look up to and ask them, and they will be more than happy. The thing is, our problem is we don't even want to ask. We're scared of asking.
True.
We're scared of getting rejected. It's okay to be rejected sometimes. It's part of vulnerability. We have to be rejected sometimes. I mean, just have to accept it. But I think, finding mentors, and these people will be more than happy to help you. We just don't know it. We just don't put ourselves out there,
So the advice is put yourself out there.
Yeah, put yourself out there.
Talk to more people.
Talk to more people.
Get noticed.
Yes, get noticed. And just finding the right people, mentors to help guide you. They will give you some really sound advice because they've probably already been through that path that you are going through now.
Yeah.
They won't hold your hand, but they will tell you to do this, do that. And then it will make sense. Things will be easier for you.
Find
you
mentors.
Want to make life so hard? It's already hard, really, as it is.
Yeah. But also find mentors. Also, be careful who you take up.
Of course.
As a mentor, right?
Of course,
because you don't want to be like getting.
I believe the right people will appear at the right time. The right people. If you, like I said, if you have good intentions, you surround yourself with good people. You will find good people. You don't have to look so far. They will just come.
They will come to you.
They will just come. I think this year has been like that for me.
It's the magic of life.
It's magic, right? It's like I think it's the universe. Just bring the right people. It's like a magnet. You will attract the right people.
Right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Shammah Chandran, thank you so much for being part of the podcast.
Thank you, Milo.
Hello, kopi ke Milo?
Milo lah.
Alright, thanks bro.
Thank you, brother.
Cheers, man. Alright, Shammah Chandran, world champion MMA fighter.
Getting there.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome, brother.
Hello, kopi ke Milo podcast. Milo Fico signing out.